What up guys, Fojo here, and today I'm coming to you with another New World video, and today's video will be about the best solo weapon for you to run around with and to utilize to have the best experience out in New World by yourself. And now this could vary depending on what class you like to run, but for the most part, this weapon allows you to be self-sufficient and heal yourself as much as possible while out in the world and doing things solo. Real quick, if you guys could like the video and subscribe to the channel, I would truly appreciate that, as well as hit the bell, let you know when new world videos drop, and leave a comment if this helped you out, or if you have a weapon that you like to run instead of this one. What is your go-to solo weapon? Drop it in the comments so everybody else can see what other good weapons can be used for solo running. But to get into it, my favorite weapon for solo running is going to be easily the Bloodsucker sword. And now this is a very common sword. A lot of people grind out the kills to get this sword, and it's a very common one for people to go after and try and farm up to have to solo run the world. There's good reason for that. It has great perks on it, and it keeps you alive when you shouldn't be a lot of times. The different things that are on it are leeching crosscut. The final strike of crosscut heals you for 72% of the damage dealt. And now leeching crosscut can hit for a ton of damage, so you can heal yourself for several thousand easily with leeching crosscut. So that alone is super useful. And leeching crosscut can be on multiple different greatswords, but this one's good specifically because it also has lifestealing, which means you gain 5.2% of your damage as health, which is also an amazing perk to have on this, which makes this super beneficial when fighting other mobs by yourself. Healing while fighting solo is like having your own personal healer, and it's just amazing how much healing you can actually put out for yourself. And now I also like to run the leeching gambit on this as well, with the plus 12% damage while your stamina is not full, and gain 3% of your damage as health as well, which makes this sword even more overpowered, has even more healing on it on top of that. And now leeching is an expensive one to go out and get or to create, but in the end I think it's worth it because of the amount of time you put into running this weapon and utilizing it for the things that it can do for you. I think running solo can be difficult, especially if you're in the new area like Brimstone Sands or something. So having a sword like this is just so much more beneficial than one that can pump out a ton of damage. Now you could trade it out for a weapon that pumps out tons of damage, but at the same time, this might be easier to keep you alive while you're doing the things that are difficult. I know it saved me a ton of times when I'm out playing. Now, the Bloodsucker sword, you are going to have to go and farm it from Red Claw. Red Claw is a bear, and in Ebascale Reach, he is located over at the Euphorsia. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but he is located here. It's a level 50 something and is super easy to fight, not a difficult mob at all. You can definitely solo it, and it shouldn't have any problems whatsoever. But the thing is, it could take hours to farm up the Bloodsucker sword. It's not a quick farm always. Some people get there and get in a few tries, but other people get there and spend hours and hours and hours there, obviously. So you may have to sit here for a while and farm this, but every person that I've had farm here and go for this has gotten it. So just remember that eventually it will drop if you stick at it and keep going for it. It's a drop table. It's going to drop you all kinds of other stuff before it drops you what you want. But I will say that the Bloodsucker sword definitely has a lower drop rate than all the other drops on the table. I have farmed there with multiple people multiple times and gotten everything else a lot more than I have the Bloodsucker sword. I've only gotten it once on each of my accounts. Have spent multiple hours there myself, and I had a friend recently spend about a week there trying to farm it up and get the sword. The thing is, once he got it, he got another drop a few kills later, so he got two pretty close together, which shows you drop tables are wild. The RNG can come at you at any time. But I think it's also true that there are certain windows for drops in New World, so just be wary of that as well. The drop tables are an interesting one for New World, and you never know how they actually are working. So keep that in mind that you might be able to hit it at a time where you get three out of nowhere, and it's a super helpful, easy mob, or you could get one in hours and hours of time spent there. But Red Claw is a really easy mob, like I said. You can solo it, no problems. There's usually other people here farming it, so even if you are having issues with it, you can probably have a few people here or come out with you to help farm it and not have any issues with it, because it's a very common one for people to come farm and try and fight. to get this weapon. There's also a ring here that is worth going for. It has luck on it, so it's also a decent drop to get from here. I have gotten that a lot more here, so you'll probably get a few of those while farming for it and be able to utilize that for farming it. But like I said, there's usually a few people out here farming for it. Like this guy's already here farming. And there's a ton of mobs out here, but they're not too tough to fight. They're pretty low level, so it shouldn't be an issue either. But like I said, I think Bloodsucker is by far the best solo weapon personally. Should be utilized if you have the ability to do so. Especially if you are a bruiser or a tank build, I think this is the one to go with. Even dex builds, this is super useful because you can work off of dex and strength. So I think that this is a great thing to go for solo running in the world because it is just super helpful and heals for ridiculous amounts of HP. So it's well worth your time putting into it for farming it and getting it from Red Claw. But like I said, Red Claw is super easy to do. It shouldn't be an issue for you to come farm. But thank you guys for listening to me talk about my favorite solo weapon in New World and what I think to be one of the better ones that you could possibly use right now. We all know the greatsword is overpowered, and this one having so much healing on it makes it especially overpowered. So if you agree with me or disagree with me, drop it in the comments. Let me know what your favorite weapon is to run solo, what you believe to be the best option for you or other classes. What are the best options for other classes you like to run? But if you guys could like the video and subscribe to the channel, I would truly appreciate that. And we'll have more videos out soon. I hope to see you there.